settle my nerves. So, welcome. Hello. Nice to see you, Justin.
Hello, Cliff Broadway.
Hello, everybody out there in the wide interwebs. Nice to see you guys. Here we are. And hello. Look, this is, yeah, I did dress for the occasion. People are trying to, call me out on this already. I love that. Thank you, guys. This is From an Unexpected Journey. It's Bilbo's quite colorful dressing gown. And
is that what that is?
Yes, it is. Indeed, it is. Hello, sir. Well,
it's not Saruman of many colors.
No, not at all. No, this is very Shire-like. This is very Bilbo, and I'm here in the Shire. Look at this beautiful place we're in. Smeagol is hiding in the distance, way over there.
We've got so much energy right now because we're about to see the trailer. We're told that it will air any minute now during the big game. And if you're watching the big game on your second TV, we should be your first TV. And you're watching the thing on the second TV. So we're here live with all you on so many different platforms.
Lots of platforms.
Lots of fans. There's so much energy.
Not Discord. Everyone.
Everywhere else. So we've got a wonderful group of fans throughout the night. This is how it's going to work. You are here at the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power trailer watch party. The OneRing.net. We always do these trailer reviews for 20 years, and this time Amazon kind of tapped us on the shoulder and said, "Hey, Prime Video would like to help out in some way." And we don't. The only help we want is to let more fans know that we're here and we want to talk about it. And we've assembled an awesome group of fans from around the world. We've got so many time zones here. Some of them are in the chat right now, and we're going to be cycling through tons of perspectives and voices from all walks of life to get our initial reactions to the Lord of the Rings trailer.
Yeah, there will be quite a few people rotating through to come and visit us throughout this evening. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you all for being so generous with your time. The audience is here. The Super Bowl is crazy. I don't know what my home team is doing, but I have a cookie. I have my Go Rams cookie. It's my blue and gold cookie. Thank you, Cantor's Deli on Fairfax. This is great stuff.
Oh, geez, that was
a classic
unpaid promotion there.
Classic Los Angeles moments because hey, we're hosting the game. I can't ignore that. But when is that trailer happening? It's got to be happening.
It's happening any second now. So we've got so much to talk about, and so many people join us, and we have a couple friends that are key to making all of this go round. And one of the long-running Torn staffers from the Torn is the OneRing.net, by the way. And Kirsten, hello, welcome. And there she is.
I do really want to introduce myself, but I also want to tell you that we are not streaming on Prime Video, and we're not in the Twitter Spaces at the moment.
All right.
So I just want to throw out those technical things. But hi, and I'd love to introduce myself properly later and just make sure that we can get these things going.
So Kirsten is helping organize everything on the back end, and as one of the producers here, I'll be jumping in and out throughout the night to help make the jiggery pokery go along.
The technical stuff has to happen. And yes, thank you for letting us know, Green Dragon. There's also Matt from Nerd of the Rings who's here with us. Hello.
Hey guys, how's it going?
The estimable Matt from Nerd of the Rings. It's so great to have the community join together. There's so much mischief going on, and welcome. Let's do some other quick hellos and get our tech issues sorted out so that we can stream everywhere that we need to be streaming. Hello. Do I see Zoanna? I see Zoanna down there too. Hello. Zoanna, actually.
Hello. Hey guys, how's everybody doing down there? I'm watching
Regina.
from Canada.
All the way up from Canada. Hello, sir.
Watching from Canada, so I'm hoping I get to see the commercial, and if not, I'll definitely be watching it streaming online. But I'm hoping to see it live on TV.
Nice to see you here. He's one of our original founders of the OneRing.net that we started as a community web portal all those years ago, and here we are today. It's amazing. We're very lucky to be here.
And if you want to watch the trailer, like you want to be on YouTube. Prime Video. You want to find Prime Video's YouTube channel right now, because the minute it goes on the air, maybe even the half minute, it's going to be posted live for everyone to watch on Prime Video's YouTube. So that'll be the first thing. And we're going to get it as soon as you guys get it. So as soon as it goes live, we're just going to hit refresh and dive in here. We haven't seen it. we've got some other wonderful people. I think from the UK. Anna Marie, you're in here, right?
I am. Hi, everyone. I'm Ana Maria. I'm a actor, writer, community organizer, Lord of the Rings enthusiast who rereads the entire Legendarium annually. Got my vintage Tolkien t-shirt on, and I am tuning in from London because I'm going to Rado right now. I'm very excited for this.
People might recognize your voice. I believe you were part of the Vanity Fair Twitter space just a couple days ago when everyone got the first look through Vanity Fair. And what was your first reaction seeing the article and the photos?
Oh my God, well, I've been able to talk to Joanna a couple months ago about the article, and so really got her sort of first taste, and we had a lovely 45-minute chat about it. I mean, the article was so in-depth and well done and lovingly crafted, and it hit all of the bullet points, right? It's like, how is this kind of going to be constructed? What were the creators' intentions? What were their priorities? And so I can't even contain I can't even contain my excitement in my own body right now. I've read the article at least 4 times since it dropped. And again, have just spent all of my free time cooing over the pictures. And so at this point, I can't deal with static imagery anymore. I need to see the movement. I need to see the world breathing in real time. So I'm really pumped, y'all. I'm really pumped.
I think we're all pumped, and yet that basically represents everything that everyone's feeling right now. We want to see this in motion. We've got another Anna in here. My LSR is one of my favorite Twitter accounts. Just a constant stream of positive energy and Aragorn memes and everything that I ever wanted in a Twitter account. Hello, Anna.
Hi, thank you for having me. Yeah, you probably won't know me by face, but if you've seen someone tweet about Aragorn, it was probably me.
Welcome. It is so great to have you here. My goodness. We're also very, very glad to have Kelly Rice join us. This is like a community. We keep describing it as a community, and it's definitely author and a delightful friend and happy Hobbit producer and star who's been with us on the OneRing.net all this time. There's Kelly Rice. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Nice to see you, Kelly.
Oh, it's wonderful to see you too as well. I just wish it was in person. It's been so long since we've been able to see each other's faces in 3D.
I know. It's been a very long time. Anna and Anna Maria, it is such a blessing to have all of you with us. And Kelly, we have our original founder of the website, Mr. Michael Regina, also known as Zoanna. And pretty soon now, Green Dragon, Kirsten, is going to come back to our screen with Matt and everybody. We're all here. This is just the beginning, first wave of many successive people and guests who are going to come through and talk with us about this. The trailer. My goodness.
That's right. And so, like, I feel like I've got to jump behind the scenes right now and get that trailer ready, because as soon as it's live, I want to be able to like scrub through it, and so we can analyze it frame by frame. So, Cliff, I'm going to hand to you. But in the meantime, Matt, Nerd of the Rings, we're streaming right to your channel. Thank you for co-hosting this on your channel, one of the best YouTube channels for lore content and Middle-earth Legendarium. Matt tells you everything. And Matt, so how excited are you now that you've spent a couple years diving into the lore and that's about to come alive for us?
Oh, believe me, it's been longer than a couple of years that I've been diving into lore. It's just only a couple of years that I've been making videos on it. But yeah, I'm very pumped. I'm really curious to see what they do with this time frame in Middle Earth. And yeah, there's a world of possibilities, I feel like, with the Second Age. And I really don't know what to expect from this teaser. Yeah, I hope that they don't give too much away. I actually really like trailers that leave some mystery.
Guys, I'm interrupting, Matt. I'm sorry, but the trailer's actually up, and we need to go and look at it. I interrupt this to read some messages. Justin, Cliff, we need to watch the trailer.
Here we go.
All right. Let's find this.
I can hardly bear the anticipation.
Suspense is terrible. hope
I
for the
know, right?
best.
Come on, you're killing us.
I wore a tank top on purpose. Whew.
I'm sweating.
It's posted on Twitter.
And in
And
the
what-
And YouTube. Yeah, it's on YouTube too.
oh, he has the
I
same
feel like
special.
crickets are blowing through
Yeah,
here.
I know. I'm about to watch it
Crickets.
without everybody, I think.
Justin, the UK
Taking all my
is in
willpower
our
not to
chat.
check.
Come on.
There is a moment of breathlessness where everyone just has to like stop for a moment. He's back in the control room trying to get it to run.
Everyone's going to have seen it and we won't have. Come on.
That's right.
I think, yeah, I need the chat to describe it to me frame by frame, please.
Yeah, I'm fighting the edge to check my phone for it.
I have it loaded on my laptop.
Loaded.
That's funny. Well, then we're going to pretend that the whole thing just.
It's okay. This is
didn't
called
happen.
dramatic irony, where the viewers or the readers already know what's about to happen, and the characters don't. So
I'm also happy to share my screen if that would be helpful.
Yeah.
I've got it pulled up.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. Here we go.
I'm gonna have to start doing some elven yoga to get the anxiety
Yeah.
out.
Boy, looking at the reaction in YouTube chat, boy, this is wonderful to see.
Haven't you ever wondered
Oh,
what else is out there? There's wonders in this world beyond our wandering. I can feel
Someone's
it.
playing it on their private.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, we'll watch it one more time.
yeah, I've got goosebumps
So
though.
you gotta play that again. Come on, play it again right away. Let's just see it again. Here we go.
Haven't you ever wondered what else is out there? There's wonders in this world beyond our wandering. I can feel it.
so many big moments. Oh my gosh. That's a lot.
I did for real like goose flesh. I don't know if you can see it, but
Cliff, how are you feeling? We're gonna check.
We're all being so polite and waiting.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go frame by frame on this thing.
I am ready to go frame by
How are
frame.
you guys? How are you guys feeling? Goosebumps?
Let's do the most granular.
I
What's
did.
going
I
on?
got
detail
goosebumps.
thing. Oh my goodness, guys, this is really quite something. I'm so glad to have everyone here. I'm not alone in this. This is amazing stuff. It looks really visually expensive. That's my first opinion. It looks pretty darn expensive, doesn't it? I mean, wow. We are going to have the ability to go frame by frame. And we're going to have this really cool technology that Justin has ready for us, where we can zoom in and out and draw with a direct stylus right onto the freeze frame that we're looking at. We'll all be able to do this together and look at these things up close and examine in magnificent detail. I'm really glad that I've got my appendices handy dandy here in my copy, my red copy of Lord of the Rings, the red leather edition. And now, where do we start?
Cliff, can we
Start at the beginning, Cliff.
Can we start with just first impressions? I know we're going to analyze blow by blow, and we've got all night to do that, but we've got all these amazing people here who've just seen this. Let's just get their impressions of it.
Absolutely. Just planting the seed that we'll have something to look forward to when we get to that. Just to plant those seeds. Everybody, give me your first impressions because I have to collect my thoughts for about a few seconds. Please. Anna, please, what do you think?
Which Anna?
You?
I think you. I'm Anna Maria, so I think you. Yeah.
Yes.
It's Middle Earth now. Like we're back there. It's so crazy to see it again after so many years, and I don't think you could see that and be underwhelmed at all. Like it's very simple. It's like it was worth the wait. Everything. There's so many big moments. I don't even know how to start unpacking it.
I know, I agree. Anna Marie, what strikes you out, firstly? I mean, what's your first impression in broad strokes?
Okay, so first thought was just like the panning shot over. Just I just really want to see the world, like the scale of the world, and so I got like a tiny little sip of that, and I'm feeling a lot of nostalgia about being back. But we're back in Middle Earth. The shot. Oh my god, of the dwarf, I have to go frame by frame. I have to go frame by frame. There's so much going on. Okay, like Galadriel dangling from the ice with the ice pick. What was going on? Was she okay. I need to see it again. I know. While y'all are talking, I'll watch it quietly again. Oh my god, I'm very overwhelmed. That's where I'm at.
That, I believe it. I believe it. Zoanna, all right, we were there 21 years ago when Weta and Peter Jackson dropped a super early sneak peek, and now we're looking at this world for the first time now that Amazon has presented, their new interpretation. What do you think so far? First impressions?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely impressive. I think, you get some of those same feelings again where it's like, this is what we've been seeing come to life, and now we're actually seeing it on our screens and tablets and devices, and I think it looks really nice. I think these are the types of shows that need to be seen on a nice big screen. They need to be seen with that surround sound and the optimal colors, and because it just looks beautiful. It looks absolutely beautiful. And if I can go back to one of the very few sort of set reports that we had, or spy reports that we had of the ice cliff. I think we saw some of that in the trailer itself, right? So that might be a throwback to one of our earlier behind the scenes images, right? So that was definitely pretty interesting.
Indeed. Kelly, first impression?
I've stayed like this about the show, so I kind of have no idea what I just saw. However, it still really excited me. It's recognizably Middle-earth. It's not a Middle-earth I'm familiar with. It's not a version of Middle-earth that I've seen before on the big screen. But I am excited to see what the storyline is, where it goes. Just that opening voiceover set the tone for me that this is not going to be like Jackson's Middle-earth. This is going to be, I'm going to use the wrong term here. I want to say more folksy, and I think it's because of the voiceover's accent, but it's telling to me like this is going to be probably more about, Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring is really about the nobility of Middle-earth. It's about kings, and Bilbo and Frodo are really wealthy. This to me feels like this might be more about the denizens of Middle-earth, the actual people who, some of whom are the salt of the earth, and what are their stories intermingled with some of the backstories of the characters we know. If we know for a fact Galadriel's in it, as Anna Maria said. So those are my first impressions. That's the tone I got from it, and maybe someone going on an adventure from humble beginnings, going out into the broad, beautiful world and getting to explore it.
Indeed. Well said. Mr. Matt at Nerd of the Rings, very first initial thought of that 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Was that really 60 seconds? Wow, I can't even imagine.
It was. Yeah. I've been, as everyone's talking, I've been going through frame by frame and picking out.
Cheating.
It's just a head start a little bit. Right off the bat, I love the shot of what I'm assuming is Númenor. For me, the locations in Peter Jackson's trilogy are some of the most breathtaking things of those films. And Númenor was a realm that I really wanted to see them get right. And what I saw in this opening shot looks promising. We see like the mountain of Men El Tarma, I'm guessing, in the background. And not to go through, I'm not going to go through frame by frame, even though I probably could right now. It didn't give us like much of the story of the show, which isn't a bad thing. Like I said earlier, I like teasers that just tease us and don't give us a whole lot to go off of. There's some things I'm really curious about. I love the shot of the elf. I can't remember his name now because I haven't learned all the made up names yet. But where he like grabs the arrow that's flying past him and then turns it around and shoots. I was like, that's pretty legit. I kind of hope that they don't do that in super slow-mo when it is actually in the show. Like, I'd like to see that like move done really fast.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to dissecting it at this point. I've got to watch these things like 5 or 6 times before I can fully formulate my opinions, I think.
Yeah, I just gave it one more watch, just quietly. And the one impression I'm getting is, how Jackson's original trilogy really focused on the realism of Middle-earth almost, like magic, like Tolkien has soft magic, right, rather than like a hard magic system. And so Middle-earth is it really leans on the realism there. This seems more magical in a way. Like the tone I'm getting from this is more mystical, more of like a fantasy show. I'm getting some Witcher vibes, honestly, and a little bit of Narnia, like but that's just for my third watch. So let me keep looking.
I see that some other friends have joined us since we started. So welcome, Luke and Sarah. It's so great that you guys are all here and have dropped in. And I know Ashley dropped in a minute ago, but I think she's gone back to the game because the Bengals are playing in her team. So she may have left us again, having dropped in briefly. But welcome to you guys. You all have a podcast together, right? I believe.
That's right. Tolkien Experience podcast. Thanks for asking us on.
It's great to have you here. And Cliff, I'm not trying to muscle in, but I know you're juggling 1,000 things. So I just wanted to take a chance to welcome these guys. And
of course.
Luke, what are your thoughts on what you've just seen?
It's really, really exciting. Just to think that like I think Anna Maria was saying, it's our first time to go back to this world in 2 decades. You know, it's been a while. I am really excited for some of the things that I saw, particularly with Galadriel in this what seemed to be kind of frozen landscape. That it seems to me kind of Helcaraxa-esque, and I would like to see. I mean, I know they can't go too deep into that part, but I'd like to see some illusions there. That seems really, really exciting. And I agree with what Matt was saying earlier about that opening scene where it kind of looked like it was a Númenor-esque that looked really, really impressive. It really reminded me a lot of the kind of dominant settings, not necessarily natural settings, but man-made settings that they were able to make for the Jackson series. It was very much that kind of like looking up at the architecture and it being impressive in that way, and I liked that as well. So I think we have a lot to look forward to in this trailer, and I'm really excited to go through it a little bit closer.
Indeed, I am too. In fact, I want to make these distinctions between what we're looking at that is going to be from the first age. That looks like we have to keep in mind the continuing reports that the first 2 episodes of this series are going to be a big prologue reaching back in time and reaching back into the first age. So what we're watching here in this, very brief moments, it's really very quickly edited trailer, we have to distinguish, are we looking at any flashbacks that go back to the Silmarillion era, even though they're only licensing the material that is here in this book, The Lord of the Rings, and the appendices. But even as I open up Appendix A and look at the first page, I see lots and lots of details from the Silmarillion. And we're going to talk about these distinctions so that the audience knows a little bit more about what we're looking at and maybe have a better idea of what to be prepared for. And it is really great to have Luke and Sarah here. Thank you, everybody from the Tolkien Experience, to be here with us tonight. The party continues. Thank you, Kirsten, for helping out. There's just going to be, a lot to be said about this Comet Man. So much has been so much has been posted online about this Comet Man, and the rumors continue, and there it was. I noticed that. I know everybody did. There was a comet flying through the sky, and an actor who looked very, very, very much like Gil-galad. He looked like Gil-galad, an elven lord, standing there watching this bizarre comet go through the sky. Tolkien never wrote anything about characters arriving on the surface of Arda via comet. So this is a very novel idea. So I want to reassure the people, in the live chat that we're more than ready to challenge the show when it deviates from the lore. I see you. Yes, I see you in the chat. We're going to talk about when the show deviates from the lore, but mostly we're going to talk about whether it's deviating from our expectations. Because right now, we're pretty much in a vacuum. This is the first time we've seen something specific in motion, and it's our very first small little taste of many, many things to come. So, we'll have plenty of time to challenge the lore when the writers get to reveal what they've crafted in terms of narrative and story. But we don't know enough about that yet. Therefore, we'll just knock that one off the list as premature, and we'll stick with what we can visually grasp and what we can glean, what we can learn from the details as we get to freeze frame through this and go backward and forward. Now, I don't hear Justin in my ear, but I know that he's coming and going very quickly, and we're going to have this really, really cool screen grab and screen forward and backward technology that he's going to put up on this big screen for us to share and to look at. Anybody else, tell me, what is that city, that beautiful city past the waterfall with that massive statue in the background? What is that? Who wants to take a guess at where we're at?
I do, because I know I've heard people saying, oh, maybe it's Númenor, but it looks to me like the city that we saw in that teaser image that came out a while back, and one of our conclusions on Torn was that it might be Tyrion in Valinor, and I just have this feeling because and there are people on here who are much better experts on Tolkien than I am, but didn't Tyrion have a beacon? And as we panned in over that archway, there was a kind of like a pier on the left with a tower that had a flame burning on the top of it. And I was like, maybe we're looking back to Valinor here, and then we see Galadriel crossing, as they said, the Helcarax, it looks like, on the ice wall. So maybe we do see a little bit of the first age, and we flash back to Valinor, and then she leaves and makes her way across to Middle-earth. I don't know, but that's my theory about that city at the beginning there.
That would make total sense, Green Dragon, because the other impression that I was really getting was the juxtaposition of that opening shot with this, what looks like a city that's been there for several hundred years. Then many of the other images were sublime in the forces of nature that they were showcasing, which said to me like raw, unbridled, untamed wilderness that these characters are traversing and having to face against, rather than just conflict among the different races or the different characters. And so that kind of really brings me back to when Middle Earth is wild enough in the setting of the Fellowship of the Ring, but this seems even more wild and more unpredictable. And the scene with that troll-like creature, that could be the first encounter with that race ever recorded, as far as we know. So that level of excitement is really new and something that's refreshing.
Anyone else got thoughts on that city? Am I way off? Who studying the maps? I was like, it's near the sea, so it could be. And I know that one of the other cities in Valinor was Alaquonde, that was supposedly entered under a rock arch, but it was a natural arch. But I'm like, but we are going under a stone arch. Maybe that's what they're referencing. I don't know.
Must admit, my first thought was that it could be Alqualonde and that we might have a look back towards the kinslaying, but I'm not sure that they have got the license for the kinslaying. So I'm not sure if that's, and also, I mean, I'm looking at the ships in the harbour here, and I'm not convinced that this is Alqualonde, but I don't know. I like the idea that it could be Tyrion, because they've made a point of showing that pillar with the flame. And they didn't have to, but it's right there. So, yeah, I must admit, when I first saw it, I thought Númenor, because there's Men Ultama, but no, maybe Tyrion. Now you've drawn my attention to the pillar with the flame on it. But what I am getting is a sense of vastness. All of the scenes that they've shown us, they've shown a vastness. So we've got this huge sweeping view of the city. We've got a massive sweeping view of the ice and the cliff, and Galadriel hanging onto it. And like Luke, I'm thinking, Helcarax, maybe. And then you've got the plains. What I'm feeling there is a sense of they want to bring a hugeness of this world to us, which I find wonderful. We're going to get more of a chance to see so much, and they're clearly throwing a vast amount of money at this. But let's just cast our minds back 20 years to the Fellowship of the Ring, when we got what we thought then were incredible visuals, and Weta bringing out all these fantastic miniatures that they were then able to film, and they looked amazing. Your mic. This is 20 years later. Imagine what they can do now. So, with the benefit of 20 years later on the technology, I'm thinking they're going to be able to give us a massive amount more.
Well, Mike, Regina, co-founder of Torn, you were updating the site multiple times a day 20 years ago. How does this compare to 20 years ago? Our first look was kind of a behind-the-scenes sneak preview where Peter Jackson was like, look what we're doing down here. This is the time. We have the technology. And then we saw a trailer. It was like a progression of sneak peeks. But this time, all we've had is a photo and some torsos. And how is this different from what you saw 20 years ago?
Lots of hands, and we're still seeing hands in the trailer too, so that's kind of cool. But no, I had mentioned this before, like this is this is a very similar feeling to what we saw back then when we actually had the first trailer out, and obviously Amazon wants to put their best foot forward here, showing us some of these really amazing scenes of beautiful landscapes and stunning visuals. One of the things that is interesting to me is just sort of the nature of how they finish visual effects and what they use for trailers and for teasers. And I think a lot of this is what we're going to see in the first two episodes, mainly because probably those are the ones that are going to be the finished first, right? So this might be a lot of the visuals we're seeing early. So I think some of those thoughts about places we're seeing might be from the first stage rather than from the second, but you never really know, right? But it definitely looks interesting. I'm interested to dive in here shot by shot to look at a few of these things, because there's some interesting things. I'm just scrolling like back and forth on my second screen here, or my fourth screen, however you want to call it, and just looking at some really interesting stuff. And you can go shot by shot and take a look at this stuff.
We're gonna go shot by shot in a few minutes, but we still want to get some reactions.
Justin,
yeah,
I'm interrupting you. Can we welcome Don Marshall? He's joined us, and I'm sure he will want to give us his reactions as we've all been weighing in here. So, Don, if you want to uncloak and welcome, thanks so much for joining us today.
Let's do that. I think, Mike, we're going to replace you on our Hollywood Squares grid. So appreciate that perspective. 20 years with the One Ring, and we're still doing it again. So thank you, Mike.
Yes, indeed. Now, here we go with a little more technical oomph. We're going to be able to do this screen.
Oh, hello. Sorry, this is Don Marshall. Can anyone hear me?
Hi,
Yep.
Don. We can. Yeah, hi.
I am so sorry. I've been having some technical issues with my own stream for a moment. I've been trying to get in here for the last 15 minutes. Hello.
Hi. Don't worry, you're not the only one who's been having technical issues this evening. But we're so glad that you're here. I don't know if you are able to turn on your camera. It'd be great to see you and get your take on the trailer, if you've even had time to watch it.
I have watched it at least 14 times. And that's putting it lightly, I think. Low guesstimation. Let me see if I can do this. Failed to start webcam. Okay, hang on. So apologies about this, folks. Let's see if I can do this. In the meantime, if you would like to go to someone else, I absolutely understand, and come back to me in a moment.
Sarah Westvic, we haven't heard from you yet, and welcome. We're so thrilled that you're here this evening. Give us your thoughts.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. Honestly, I was pretty blown away by the trailer. I went in there with no expectations, and I was blown out of the water. To kind of echo a little bit about what Sarah said, my biggest apprehension going into this was, whether the show would be able to capture the scale and the age of Middle Earth, because for me that was Tolkien's unattainable vistas that he talked about, the stories behind the stories that we hear about. That was, for me, the very first draw to Middle Earth, because I was introduced through the Jackson films, and then got into reading the books. And I was just so happy that when watching this trailer, I got that energy straight away. Just that opening shot of the city, which, might be Alcolonde. I'm still convinced it's the Haven of Romena in Númenor. Just seeing that, and then seeing all of the different settings that we get. There was that beautiful shot of that golden forest, which was giving me major Lothlorien vibes. I don't know if we're going to get to that point of the story in the first season, but it was definitely evoking that imagery for me. The shot of that character that really looks like it could be Gil-galad in that setting. all of the different like scenarios that we've seen the characters in, that warrior in that battle scene towards the end of the trailer, it just feels like such a big, populated and lived in world with so many people whose lives are like, I can already get the sense that their lives are existing in the shadow of the first age, and all of their individual stories are going to get entwined, and they're going to interplay with the drama and the tragedy of the second age, even though like what we're seeing are these like individualized moments of their own like experiences. So yeah, I was just really excited to see that the world looks so expansive just from this one tiny like 60-second clip.
I totally get where you're coming from with that. We've got two more guests that I'm going to just admit who are joining us here. So we'll let them in to join and we'll get some more opinions. And it's looking to me like Cliff is frozen at the moment. He's been stunned by what he's seen. Oh, I think he might be back. And we're welcoming our two new guests. So Cliff, if you're back with us, would you like to welcome the folks who just joined us?
Yes, I would very much like to. I'm here. I can see you, but if someone could tell me, I don't see them yet. Who are the
Reverend
new guests?
Tom Emmanuel has joined us. Hi, Pastor Tom.
Hello.
Well, hello
Good
there,
to be
Pastor
here.
Tom. Hi there. I'm sorry I don't have my list in front of me for who's coming. So I'm so grateful to have you all join us. Welcome back. Welcome to the Wondering.net.
And then over from the realms of TikTok, we've got New Better Do Better. Hi. And it's just a pleasure to have you join us.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here and an honor. Thank you so much.
Excellent. It's so good to have you.
I didn't know New was showing up. What's up? Sorry, I apologize.
Oh, man, Don, what's up?
Hey, New, what's going on? I apologize, everybody. I think you all might be able to see and hear me. I'm doing some sort of roundabout way thing on my computer with my audio. Can everybody see and or hear me?
Yes.
You look lovely.
Excellent. Thank you. I've been crying for the last half hour. Can you tell?
So give us your thoughts, Don. Now we can see and hear you. Go.
Oh my goodness. Where to even begin? Well, there were many tears, obviously. This has been a long time coming. I've been looking forward to this since they announced it. I am blown away by just the visuals, the stunning visuals. I'll admit I was kind of hoping for something longer than a minute. I was trying to be a little greedy, but I from what I saw, it really feels like we are back in Middle Earth, right? I know a lot of people were saying, they wanted to capture the spirit of the Jackson movies, and to me, the most important thing was it needed to feel like we were back in Middle Earth. The thing that people have, hanging up on their walls is the map of Middle Earth, because that in and of itself is the character. And when I saw, everything from the wide landscapes and the waterfalls and what I assume is going to be the Helcarax, the crossing of the giant ice.
Yes.
Oh my God, it all just looks so amazing. And I am thrilled to be back in this universe that I love so much. It all looks so stunning.
Absolutely.
Oh, You Better Do Better. Go on, you're up to give us your opinions. I can tell you're excited to share. Tell us.
I'm super excited. Literally what Don said, the trailer was great and everything, but one thing more than others excited me, seeing Galadriel climbing the Helcaraxa. And when you read the books, you'll know that she was one of the leaders that helped them get across the Helcaraxa. People have been saying lately, well, Galadriel in her armor, she wasn't a war leader. That's not specifically true. She was very much so a leader at different times, leading the Noldor. And this was one of the times where she, Fingolfin, Fingon, Turgon, they helped lead the entire population of the Noldor that wasn't with Feanor over the Helcaraxa, and we get to see that, and that blew my mind more than anything else in the trailer. It was kind of short, and they showed a lot of other entities in the trailer than what you would think you would be used to, like people that you might not know who this person is or that person, which I think is great because the second age is open for a lot of different landscapes and cultures and things like that. So I think that's awesome. But that scene in particular really caught me. The war, seeing which battle that is going to be really fun. So I'm excited to see that. And the opening shot of I'm assuming either that has to be either Mythland or it has to be obviously Númenor, one of those two. But it was a beautiful shot, so I'm excited. So
Well said. Well said. I agree. Wow. The thing that strikes me most is that we know that they don't care about money. They don't care about the production expense that it takes to acquire the rights from the Tolkien estate, which was hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. They certainly don't care about packing up and leaving New Zealand and going across the world to a whole nother country for a whole new infrastructure for a second season and beyond. They have so much money to spend. So, in my opinion, by just my general first opinion is, wow, look, every penny is on screen. Every penny is right there on screen. It looks ridiculously like detailed, but then it doesn't tell us what the writers are doing. We still are in this place of wondering and perhaps concerned, maybe some of us, about what the writers in the writer's room are doing. And so I would put this forward. I think this game is Amazon's game to lose. They've got everything lined up. They've got everything set. They've got all the money to support this vision and this ambitious adaptation that they want to do. So if it's up to the writers, the burden is ultimately what narrative are we going to get? How is it going to be true to Tolkien? How will it reflect the ideas of his approach to death and deathlessness as a thematic construct? The metaphysical ideas that are behind the fate of men versus the fate of elves in spirit. And there's so many interesting ideas that they could cram into 5 or 6 or 7 seasons. And since we know, obviously, looking at how beautiful this visual stuff is, we wonder still, I wonder, this is just one man's opinion, but I wonder how the writers are up to this ambitious task of bringing, the Second Age to life in a way that really organically feels like Tolkien. And that's just where I'm at right now.
Well, Cliff, I'm still behind the scenes here looking at this. And speaking of writing, no one here has talked about the voiceover, the narration. Let's go to my Elisar. I want to hear a little bit more. Like, what'd you think of what you just heard on screen, not just saw?
I don't know who was speaking. I couldn't really tell, but it's like Kelly said, like the folksy kind of, it just gives a completely different vibe right off the bat than the original trilogy. It kind of, because maybe it's just me who didn't know who it was, but it like sucked me in right away because it just got me thinking. I was like, who's this? And then immediately I was just taken away by all the visual things as well. So it just left me with a lot to think about.
Indeed. Anybody else? Jump on in if you have thoughts.
I'd love to hear from Tom. We haven't heard from Tom yet since he joined us.
Yes, please.
Thanks much. So, in the Second Age of Middle-earth, 2 great civilizations meet their fall. It's attempted by Sauron, and those are the elves of Eregion, and those are the men of Númenor. 2 civilizations of incredible power and wealth and prestige, but whose immense physical and material resources and spiritual powers are put to a bad end. And so my deep suspicion, and this is a suspicion, this doesn't necessarily ground it in anything, but I would say my worry going into any adaptation of Tolkien coming from Amazon.com is who exactly is offering up the Rings of Power here, who exactly and to what end this great and magnificent and visually sumptuous, as we've just witnessed, feast. Who's pulling the strings behind the scenes? And so I'm agnostic about the content. I mean, I'm very excited to see the Helcaraxe. I'm very excited to see many of these characters and to explore more parts of the world, but I can't get that doubt out of the back of my mind. Where is Sauron in all of this?
Mm-hmm.
We're saving him for sure.
One thing that I've kind of struggled with now that I've had more time to think about the the trailer, and I did sneak another watch in, so I've seen it 3 times now, is I kept bringing up tone when I was first trying to pinpoint my reaction, and a lot of it has to do with the use of light in the visuals. When you're watching Peter Jackson's films, there's something about them that just is so much, it feels mythic. It feels like it's harkening back to the source material that inspired Tolkien himself, such as Beowulf and the Nibelung saga. And you feel it's visually a little bit darker. It's the color correction was done in such a way that you feel like you're hearing a story from times past. And it's a very subtle, almost subconscious, tapping into the viewer's subconscious shift. Whereas the images we saw were very bright, very detailed. And even though in the timeline of Middle-earth, they come from a much earlier era, they feel more present. And I think I'm struggling with that a little bit. I was hoping for a little bit more of a mythic tone to what we were seeing. I think it would have been great. Now there's a real trailer coming. This was a teaser, but it would have been great just to see that hand we glimpsed in the posters, the hand, supposedly of Sauron just gripping a weapon, or just something to tease us that there's also a really big baddie.
Yeah, I'm really sitting with the fact that it's only February and this comes out in September, and I just had to remind myself of that, because I was just thinking like there was, for me, what was missing from the teaser was narrative, but then obviously they're just trying to offer up a few dishes, like a little bit of a taste test for different characters and different bits of scenery. I personally am hoping to see a bit of practical effects being incorporated into the show, just because we brought up Weta and the minis from back in the day. We all have so much affection for practical effect version of Middle-earth, so I'm hoping to see some of that. But yes, yeah, I'm really reminding myself, like, okay, this was 60 seconds. We have until September. This is just to wet the palate. Yeah, still very excited.
Well, and I think one of the kind of underlying messages that this teaser did a really, really good job with, both in the narration and in the visuals that they chose, was being very clear that this is not going to be the story you're familiar with.
Yeah.
The narration was very clear, like, there are other worlds out there that we haven't even begun to explore, thus hinting we're going to explore those worlds we haven't thought of before. And then in the visuals, obviously being much more eclectic and diverse, both in the settings that we've seen and in the characters that we've seen. So just really being upfront with that message of, this is going to be Middle-earth, but not the Middle-earth that we've seen before. I think they did a really good job of choosing visuals and audio to get that message across.
Yeah.
Well said.
I wanted to mention the hand, because Kelly just said before about it would have been great to see a hand that maybe suggested a villain or a baddie. And we did see this big hand at the end of the trailer being taken hold of by the little hand of presumably one of our half-feet. And it was that hand from the character poster that had the kind of grubby knitted and was holding an apple. So who's that? Who do we think that hand might belong to?
I know of someone who has a really good speculation of it. James Tauber over at Digital Tolkien did some analysis, and the gray cloth on the hand, it looks like the same one that's holding the apple, which also looks like the same as one of the people who has the big antlers on their back, one of the nomads. So I think that's all kind of the same character, and perhaps in their kind of nomadic wandering, they come across a child and they're helping the child in some way. That's kind of what I'm assuming based on those connections from Digital Tolkien.
Other thoughts? Can I go with my theory?
Let's hear it.
So I think that's a wizard, right? Now, we know from the Vanity Fair article that wizards and hobbits, well, we know this anyway, but as Vanity Fair pointed out, wizards and hobbits don't belong in the Second Age. But we also know that Prime Video have found a way, the showrunners have found a way to put in a kind of Hobbit or Harfoots who are in there. And so, I mean, you know, we don't really know anything about when the Maya came. We know it was supposedly Third Age, but we don't know exactly how they came to Middle Earth. And we saw this bit in the trailer of this man in this kind of flaming bonfire thing with one of the Harfoots. And I felt like it was his hand at the end. And I was like, it doesn't feel evil. It doesn't feel like this is Anatar or Sauron that they're encountering because of the way it was sort of affectionately taken. Of course, they could just be calling my bluff there. But I was like, I feel like this is an important and significant bond that's being forged here. And I was like, oh, what if it was the first time one of the Istari met with one of a kind of hobbit and it was setting us up for everything that was going to come later?
That would be incredible.
That's actually awesome. Incredible. I had a thought. I was thinking about the shooting star we saw, and if that was possibly not just a shooting star, but possibly a being coming over, and that was how they were representing them getting to Middle-earth or arriving. Whether it was Anatar, whether it was one of the wizards, even though, you know, there's different, you know, thought processes on how they traveled over. You know, it's up for interpretation to the people who have the rights right now. So maybe that's how they're going to do it. Or, you know, I was thinking about that. So that's one of my thoughts.
Perhaps someone who's far more well-versed in the minutiae of the lore will know the answer to this, but there's a verse coming to my mind. For into darkness fell his star, in Mordor where the shadows are.
Yes, that's Gilgalad.
It was Gilgalad?
Yes, that's Gilgalad. That's from the fall of Gilgalad. But that's more referring to at the end of the Second Age when he fought Sauron and was killed. Literally, his name is with the star. So that's why they say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was more metaphoric, but in theory could have been taken by a high-powered studio and turned into something literal.
Yeah, but that's an interpretation of his name. So literally him falling to Sauron that's why it says fell his star.
It is also not totally out of the realm of possibility that we could see some sort of meteorite or meteor. I'm not a science person, so I don't know the difference. I apologize, but correct me if I'm wrong. There is a sword that is made out of some sort of space metal, right?
Yeah, Galvorn.
Yeah, and eventually becomes, I believe, Gorthang. Am I correct in that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it is not out of the realm of possibility that they sort of take this sort of all-encompassing idea of the star and maybe weave in various tales from any of those ages. Because just from a personal perspective, I was the one to release the one of the posters that had the really old black broken sword, and a bunch of people had mentioned to me, hey, that might be you know, the meteorite sword that had been reforged a couple of times, and that might be some sort of callback. So I'd be very curious to see how much of like the old lore we get pushed into this sort of is it fair to call it a compressed timeline in all of this? Just like some sort of,
I believe that's what they were calling.
Yeah, they told us it's going to be super compressed timeline near the end of the Second Age. And people in the chat pointing out, of course, that Eol made 2 swords that were made of meteoric material. And ultimately, I think we're leading towards Gurthang. I think we're really safe in that area at guessing that.
I really hope so.
Yeah.
This reminds me that Sarah Westvick in our response video to the posters, you actually had this theory. Did you want to elaborate on that? Because you talked about it a little bit.
I did a little bit, yeah. Because, you know, there was like Eol forged 2 swords. There was Anglahel and then its sister Anguriel. And, you know, Anglahel eventually became Gurthang, and, you know, it was what Turin used to basically do himself in. And that, like, I'm pretty sure that one drowned with Beleriand's. But Angredo is interesting because we know that it went to Gondolin, but after that, its history becomes very
Lost.
murky. We basically don't really know what happened to it exactly. Like it was lost. So I have like one of like the things I was speculating was that it could perhaps be a way to kind of, I guess, bring the first age history into the second age by going with a sword that is clearly linked to a sword from the first age, but also doesn't have all of the or as much of the first age baggage attached to it, because I mean Gurthang has like so much first age baggage, being involved in the entire Lanikin Hurin, the children of Hurin, but Angredo doesn't have that same kind of history, so I feel like there would be maybe more room for them to play with. Just of course, because swords in Middle Earth always have such, like whenever it's like an important sword, it has a lot of meaning and heft behind it. So I guess the question then would be, if Amazon is going in this direction, what kind of meaning are they going to give to a meteorite sword if that's what they're ultimately going to work with? But yeah, that was my thought.
Yeah, I think that if you don't mind me adding on to that, she's like right spot on. I think that there's room to play with both swords. Gorthang ends up killing Morgoth in the final battle, so I don't know if there's preserving that, so we know this is going to be a great sword and used in that way. And then we also have room because if Sting, if Glamdring and Orcish can survive the fall of Gondolin, well, we know Magellan had the sister sword, so he stole it from his father, and it was in Gondolin. So if those swords survived into the second and third age, there's no reason why that sword couldn't survive into the third age.
Oh, 100%, 100%, right on.
So, Cliff, if I could bring up real quick, so I did a poll on my stream here, and I had 60% saying that they think that the first shot is Númenor. And
really,
I know we're you guys
above
maybe
the
aren't
water
ready.
with Balerian Saints. The only spot in that whole entire sea that's above the water in Balerion. So if somebody sailed there, we saw somebody on a ship, they could retrieve the sword that way. There's a bunch of things they could do, I think. It's just seeing which narrative they're trying to play with and what makes more sense. So that's going to be real interesting to see what they do with that.
Absolutely. It looks like if it looks and smells like Lindon, maybe it's Lindon. But if it's going to be really Númenorian, aren't we going to be looking, and soon, just in a couple of minutes, we're going to be able to freeze frame and get really close up. But we're going to have to look at architecture and I guess take a look at what the production department, what the art department was doing in these backgrounds to see if we can get those distinctions between Númenorian and Elven stuff. I am so glad that we have everybody here sharing this depth of knowledge and talking about the fact that Professor Tolkien gave us a history where they always name important names to the most important and significant swords and weapons. It all leads up to that charming and funny little bit where Bilbo is just struggling to figure out what to name his dagger. And, I just love that. And you're right. When you say these weapons survived the fall of Gondolin, and you stop and think about that, it's something of a minor miracle that Bilbo and the Thorin and company find this piece, this relic from Gondolin in a random troll horde in a random hillside in Rhudaur. It's just completely random. But that also means if Tolkien can do it, then the writer's room at Amazon can be like, surprise, little objects and amazing artifacts and weapons from the First Age can suddenly show up. It can happen, right?
Definitely.
Well, I'm I'm dying to see more of.
Cliff, I'm
yes,
interrupting
please
you
interrupt.
again.
Please interrupt me as much as you can. Please.
I
Yes.
know that some of our guests have got to go. So
Yes.
the folks who have been with us for the first part of this live stream and sharing your excitement and your thoughts and your opinions, thank you so much.
Yes.
Stay if you will, go if you must, as they say. Thanks for joining us. It's been great having you. And we've got two new guests that we're welcoming in who are joining us at this point in time. So welcome to Tim Gray and apparently Will Smith down in the corner, but not that Will Smith.
Hello, hello.
I was about to be like, whoa.
If Will Smith gets in this live chat, like the West Philadelphia one, we'd have a completely different live stream. I feel.
I apologize for not being that one.
Listen, the beard automatically makes up for it. The beard makes up for it.
That's
I
awesome.
came in full
That's
garb,
so awesome.
beard, football
Nice.
jersey, eye black, and gold freckles on my hands like the dwarves.
Nice. And
Excellent.
I do apologize. I do have to drop as well, folks. I have to go to work in the morning, unfortunately.
Of course.
And I gotta be up early. Thank you all so much for having me, though. This has been an absolute blast being a part of the stream.
Absolutely.
It's
It
wonderful
is-
to
it
have
is
you here.
It's pushing 3 a.m. here in London. Thank you for letting me get excited with you all tonight. It's really lovely listening to you all. Mwah. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so
Bye,
much
Anna.
for
Bye,
having me
everyone.
and for it's been a blast to meet all of you, and I hope everyone who's been watching has been having a great time too. So thank you. Namarie.
Thank you.
I'm
Have a
gonna
great
dip out
night.
as well because it's also almost 3 a.m. So thank you for letting me come on and share my thoughts, and it was lovely to speak to everyone. So goodbye.
Mega
Thank you
Van.
as well. It's
Bye-bye.
nearly 4 a.m. here in Germany, so I'm going to bow out as well. It was really wonderful to be on though and to talk with all of you and hear all of these theories and share and all the enthusiasm and the hype. I'm so excited now. I don't know how I'm supposed to go to sleep, but I'll try.
I want to thank
I'm
you
also
all.
going to leave. Thank you very much. It's almost 3 a.m. here in North Wales, and it's either you're going to get some really great shots of me dozing off in front of the computer. So thanks so much for inviting me along. It's been great. Enjoy the rest of the stream.
Thank you for being with us, my dear. Have a great night, everybody. And thank you for staying up till the wee hours of the morning. Everybody in Europe. That's awesome. Thank you.
Cliff, we've got one more person who's just joined us. So we need to hear from Tim and Will, and we've just got Anne has joined us, who is Entmaiden, who is one of our staffers at the One Ring. And Anne dropping in just gives me an opportunity to say, because I've been watching some of the chats and some of the things that people have been saying, the OneRing.net has been going for a long time, and we have always proudly been not for profit. Nobody who does anything for the OneRing.net has ever been paid. We all have real life jobs. We do not make our living doing this. We all fit this in as because it's our passion. It's always been by fans for fans. So the folks that you're seeing joining us tonight, Mike, who's one of our founders, Anne, who's just come in, who's one of our staff, I'm a staffer, Cliff, Justin, we all do it because we love it and for no other reason. So hey, Anne, it's good to see you.
Hello, it's so nice to see everyone. I wanted to point out my background because the opening scene when we saw Númenor, what I have in my background is I'm in Chicago, for those of you that don't know me yet. But this background is the 1893 Columbian Exposition. And one of the sort of nicknames for Chicago, or the fairgrounds at that time, which is the World's Fair, was the White City. So when I saw that opening shot of Númenor, I immediately thought of this. And I cannot wait to start to see the frame by frame, but I just wanted to put this in my background tonight, just because they seem so similar.
Nice.
That's so cool. And infamously, like, Tolkien never set foot in America. Like, he never came here by boat or plane or ever, anything.
No, he never did the famous Oscar Wilde tour of the American West. That never happened.
Yeah. So, well, we've got some more perspectives to share. Pastor Tom Emanuel, we've heard from you. Will Smith, should we let people know you're the moderator of the subreddit LOTR on Prime, the main subreddit for this huge show. Have you seen have you seen an influx of energy come into the subreddit in recent days?
Yes. I mean, you're talking about 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 people normally coming to the subreddit daily. And the past handful of days has been easily 120, 130. I can't wait to check the numbers tomorrow. Wow. But we are at, like, I made the thread about the trailer not too long ago, and I can't even check my phone. There's over 600 comments, I think, already about the trailer on the subreddit, and each one dings my phone, and then Discord pings my phone, and my family's texting me, like, what do you think? And I can't even keep up. I just put my phone down.
Was there enough dwarves in the trailer for you?
Oh my god, this is the greatest like teaser trailer ever for Dwarves. I mean, all those beautiful shots. Doran, the Song of Lament. No neckbeard on Disa, but fine. The other shot that had multiple dwarves standing in the background while they were, hammering on something and like the stone is cracking. Every single shot that they were in gave me goosebumps, and it was like the thing that stole the trailer in my eyes. Like, it was so cool.
That's so good. And just joining us is Tim Gray, the Senior Vice President of Variety, the biggest, the most important trade publication in Hollywood. Hello, Tim. Thanks for coming on today.
Oh my God, it's an honor to be here. I mean, seriously, I'm stunned. I didn't realize nobody got paid with One Ring. So I'm going to start a fund to raise money to pay you people, because you guys work really hard, really hard.
Well, I appreciate that. It is working hard for passion, and it's all about the community here. And speaking of community, Tim, you've joined us early last year when we talked about a reunion for the Cannes Film Festival 2001, where Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, famously had their first look in front of the world at the Cannes. And you were saying that people were just spilling out of the aisles, just excited, and not just like normal fans, but like all people of all levels of Hollywood were kind of like stunned by what they saw. What kind of energy are you feeling right now, 20 years later, as Amazon and Prime Video are charting a new course in the Middle Earth?
Well, I think the situations are kind of comparable, because when Lord of the Rings debuted, I mean, nobody had seen any footage of it. And so, we knew it cost a lot of money. It was like $270 million for the 3 films. Peter Jackson was not well known. So everybody was kind of hopeful, but skeptical, because, they spent a lot of money. The people at New Line, they worked hard. So you hope for their sake it would be good. But I think when the footage started, I think they showed 25 minutes. About 3 minutes into it, I thought, oh, thank God, this movie is not going to be cute, because anything with dwarves and elves, I thought, oh God, I hope it's not cute. But then they did the Mines of Moria sequence, which it was like stunned. Seriously, I've been going to movies for most of my life, and I'm old. But I've never been in a situation like that before. It's like the audience turned from skeptical to wildly enthused, and the lights went up, and they thanked us for coming. Nobody wanted to leave. Everybody stood in the aisles talking, and they moved us out into the lobby, but we stayed talking in the lobby, and then they moved us out in the street. Finally, they couldn't get rid of us. And the Cannes Film Festival, I mean, there were a lot of big movies there, but this 25 minutes got as much talk as any other movie at that festival. It was a phenomenon. So I'm hoping that the Amazon series, I think some people are hopeful, some people are skeptical, but I'm hoping that there's a similar payoff and in enthusiasm when the show debuts.
From what we just saw just an hour ago or so with the first look trailer, Lord of the Rings was famously unfilmable, and then they filmed it, and it was a huge success. But you can never do that on a television budget. But here we are, and Prime Video's doing it. From what we just saw in the trailer, is this living up to the unfilmable aspect? Does this look like, wow, they're actually doing it for television?
Well, seriously, I think, the estimated budget for the series is $1 billion for like 5 seasons. I mean, there's never been a cost like that. But again, when Lord of the Rings debuted, there had never been a movie project that cost $270 million. But I mean, it's paid back like hundreds of times. So it's like, it seemed like a crazy expenditure, and it turned out to be a really smart investment. So I think, 20 years from now, presumably we'll all meet again, and then we'll talk about that $1 billion expenditure. It's like, yeah, that was a good investment. It wasn't a crazy move.
What do you think of, you met some of the co-founders of the One Ring at Cannes, which was fascinating to, have old media and new media and fan sites and Variety meet together. And here we are today, and we're all reunited, but, because of the circumstances, we're all virtually. But what's the energy are you feeling with this and with everything?
I mean, seriously, it's really positive energy. Now, I feel like, look, if you go on the internet, at least 5 to 10% of the people are going to be mean, just for the fun of it. But I feel like this project it doesn't just outweigh the negativity. The energy's force is so strong that people are so enthused about it. It's not like another TV show that we hope is going to be good. It's like there's a real energy behind this show, and it's more than just a curiosity and goodwill. So again, I'm really hopeful. Lord of the Rings, again, I don't think anybody wanted it to fail, but people were very skeptical about it. But I think people are very skeptical about this one. But it's like there's a real.
Pastor Tom, you're still here. You just heard him say, people might, 5% of people want this to fail. You've been watching the online comments. Respond. Can you elaborate on that? Do you think the same vibes that have always been present on the internet are still here? And I guess the question is, how do we just erase the noise and keep this energy up? Does Pastor is Tom on the mic? Yeah. No audio.
You want me to talk?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, I think one of the things that's important when we're thinking about the, we've seen any noise is good noise as far as marketing is concerned, right? And that includes controversy. That includes any news is good news, right? Any press is good press. And so what I'm hoping with as we continue, getting hyped for this new series is that we also continue to be, keep our critical hats on, right? Keep our willingness to critique or to be critical of the showrunners. I think one of the things about the Tolkien fandom that I've observed is that they're usually, in the most part, a pretty literate lot, a pretty observant lot, and being willing to think thematically as well as in terms of glitter and glam, right? As long as we can talk about the dwarves, I'm happy. That's great. So I don't have. My hope is just I'm pretty agnostic about content at this point, but I'm excited to be able to have these conversations with the fandom, which I've always found to be an enormously welcoming and increasingly diverse place. So that's my little take for the moment. Thanks much.
Let's go to New Better, Do Better. TikTok, you're huge on TikTok, and first off, I'm so excited that we have on this screen right now, we have Reddit, Variety, and TikTok and Twitter, like all represented. So what energy are you getting out at TikTok? Do you think that's where a lot of millennials are just getting all of their news and entertainment right now?
Yeah, I think it's the premier app right now. They each have their phases, and this is a lot of people are discovering all the different niches, as well as myself, that are on TikTok. And I think it has something for everybody, and it's like the go-to place right now. So it's really exciting to see. And the fandom with what we have coming out is just like, this is the place to be right now for everything, as well as Reddit, as well as Twitter. And we're all just ringing off with such excitement. And TikTok, like I said, is like probably the newest one out of the social medias. So it's just exciting to be there while it's popping off like this.
Absolutely. Well said. I mean, I'm the last person to make a TikTok account, and now I'm like, well, I really have to now. I really have to. We've got so many people joining our Discord, and these new platforms. This is intriguing to me because it wasn't so long ago, back in the 70s, when people were in their garage printing fan newsletters and sending them out, paper newsletters that were sent out every few months just for the fans, And there was a wonderful lady who worked at Tolkien Enterprises. She worked up in Berkeley, California with Saul Zaentz and company, you know, the guy who had the license and got involved with New Line Cinema to make those movies. But they had this little fan newsletter, and it was published out of their garage. And it was literally folded piece of paper in thirds. And it was the cutest thing. But now we have this. Now we have this whole massive new wave of people slinging mud at each other and also praising the artists and showing their concerns and showing their excitement. And, you know, it's really, wow, it's really something else. But, you know, brace yourself because, kids, this is just the beginning. This is just the very first part of the ride, really. So brace yourselves.
Justin, can we welcome, we've got another Torn staffer who's joined us whilst we've been hearing from folks, and that's Rebecca. So hi, Rebecca, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Rebecca.
And if we can take a moment, we haven't heard from either Anne or Rebecca as our Torn staffers and what their reaction was to the trailer.
Anne, go ahead. Like first reactions? You've been a longtime staffer with the OneRing.net, and you've been through the Lord of the Rings movies with us and the Hobbit movies with us, and now how are you feeling? Kind of the third age going to the second age of fandom.
I'm extremely excited. I love seeing the trailer. I'm one of those folks that feel that the more Tolkien, the better. So I'm embracing all of it. I love, as I said earlier when I first came on, I love the opening scene, which I think is Númenor also. I saw a few things that I'm very intrigued by that just sort of flashed by that I cannot wait when we go through frame by frame to talk about, or if, you know, or listen to as you all continue talking.
Transition to them?
I think that the casting, I've been excited about that. The dwarves, very excited about all the dwarves. I'm just very happy, and I need to see it about 1,000 more times.
Rebecca, how many times are you going to see it?
I was very excited to see it. I mean, like other people, I've been, you know, a little hesitant on a few things that I've seen, but I just, I like Anne said, I need to watch it several more times. I think I've watched it about 5 times now since it's been on. I liked seeing the little Harfoot girl I was assuming that's who was doing the narration that we hear in the trailer. I was kind of assuming it was her. I also just love, you know, I love that everyone is so passionate about this. I mean, you know, there's good passionate and bad passionate that we've seen. And I think people, maybe younger fans might forget that, you know, 21 years ago, there was a lot of anger and discussion about certain things that we may or may not see in The Lord of the Rings, or things that, you know, pictures that we saw, and, you know, oh, you can't cast that guy, he's way too young to be a hobbit, or, you know, what is she doing in that scene? Things like that. So I hope that everybody just kind of takes a beat and just takes a breath. And I don't think as fans, I don't think any of us want this show to suck. I think we all want it to succeed and be great, because, you know, more Tolkien is a good thing in the world. So I think, you know, let's all just take a breath, and my cat agrees as well if he wants to join in. Let's just, you know, let's I can't wait to see more. I mean, I want to see more of this version of Middle Earth.
I see Jim has also joined us. Mad Eye Gamgee, he's another Torn staffer. So it's great to have a few other of our volunteers from the OneRing.net. Hi, Jim. How are you doing?
Pretty great. Been watching the teaser trailer several times.
And what was your reaction? Because you had some in-depth things that you were hoping for. We posted an article this morning of what are the staff hoping to see in the trailer, and you had a pretty long shopping list of things you hope to see. And with it only being a teaser trailer, I don't think you got many of them. So what was your reaction?
You know, I got one or two. You know, I one of the things I was looking for was, are we going to see any iconic moments? Anything that will connect to those who have read the Silmarillion or know some of the Second Age stuff. And so when you see Galadriel, who seems to be crossing the ice fields of the, I got to get it right, the Helicrux. Yeah. Then that felt like, oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe we will see that Elven trek across. Or when you see the first pan that comes up over what looks to be a city in Númenor, although you may have debated that. But you see some flags of, well, there are going to be touch points and there are going to be payoff points. For the most part, as I expected, it's a minute long. And so, the fact that there was almost zero dialogue in the entire thing, or wondering, you didn't get a lot of leitmotifs in music. You just got sort of a classic trailer background music for it. And then just lots of character snippets. So we'll see if they pay off anywhere. And then a kind of vague sort of hint at the architecture of the storyline, which is some lines of, there are wonders in this world beyond our wonder. Okay, well, I guess we'll see where that goes. So, yeah, little bits of hint, but I don't know that my things were dispel our concerns, and I like kind of a look, and then give us reason for hope that we're going to really want to watch the series. With this group, I suspect we're all going to want to watch the series. So there's enough there that says, yeah, I'll come back. I'm coming back for more, but I'm still hungry for more. So
that's awesome. And Jim has been one of our regular folks who help organize Dragon Con, one of the biggest fantasy conventions in the country every year in Atlanta. And we hope to see everybody again this year after the last few years.
Indeed.
So
hello, can
everybody is asking in the chat
Thank you, Jim,
room,
for joining
let's
us.
get to a frame-by-frame analysis. They want to see us dive deep in, and we still got more people
it looks like
coming,
we are now
including the Tolkien professor who runs Signum University,
ready to show
and
frame
many
by
others.
frame
But before we jump
technology.
into the frame-by-frame,
It looks like we're going to go with this. Can everybody hear me okay?
I wanted to ask, Tim,
I am hoping
since
so.
you were at Cannes and you saw the hoity-toity of Hollywood, what were they
congratulations to the Los Angeles Rams for winning the game
in Cannes after they
in the
first
very
saw Lord of the Rings
last
20
minute.
years ago. I mean, did it sound like this conversation that you're hearing today?
That just happened.
Wait a minute. I was hearing the Super Bowl score when you were asking the question, so I only heard part of the question. Were you just asking about the kind of the mood at Cannes afterward?
Well, and I just realized that we had some crossover. I was wondering, you were at Cannes, you heard all these conversations spilling out into the street. What were the conversations of the hoity-toity of Hollywood 20 years ago when they first saw Lord of the Rings, and what you're hearing today with us geeks over Zoom? Were the conversations like similar, just like going into details of like, oh my gosh, did you see that?
I mean, they were similar, but they were dissimilar. I mean, I think in Cannes, I think there was, especially at the end of it, there was a lot of goodwill. People were really happy that it was working. And as soon as it was over, I went up to the New Line people. I said, okay, when can we see the first film? I mean, get me on the list. I think with this, it's, but I feel like Peter Jackson kind of invented digital interaction with his film. I mean, because most studios weren't doing that. They weren't talking with the fans. And so this is a whole different setup. In one hand, it's like really great because obviously everybody here is really enthused. It would be fun if everybody was in one room together because, there's just a different kind of energy there. But I feel like the constant following of the Amazon project and all that, it's a different energy. So it's not coming as a surprise to anybody what you saw, but it's more like a relief that maybe your fears were groundless. That maybe this is going to be like a really good show.
And I guess that's what we're hoping for this time around. I mean, I think one of the things that's slightly frustrating for a lot of people this evening is we've been so looking forward to this trailer, so excited, so much building up, and then it is just a teaser trailer. And so we saw things that were tantalizing and frustrating and like, do I love that? I don't know. It looks so thrilling, and yet I'm not sure what's really going on. So we want to get to that point, Tim, that you were just talking about, being like, oh, okay, we feel good, we feel this is going to be great. It's tough to know. Hey, Matt, I see you have to leave us.
Yes, I gotta get going. It's getting a little late over here on the East Coast, and I'm planning on doing a breakdown on this. So if I'm gonna do any of that, I should probably do it before I fall asleep at my desk working on it later tonight. But thanks for having me on. Everybody who's been watching this on my stream, make sure you go over to the One Ring stream, and you can continue the conversation. I'm looking forward to, it's like I said earlier, it's a teaser trailer. There's some little nuggets in there for us to dissect. So I'm excited to be able to dissect things from Middle Earth again. There's still some things in it that I was kind of like the meteor thing. I was kind of like, what is going on here? There's a lot up in the air, and I'm looking forward to diving in with everybody on it, and talking about the things that are nods to the lore, and things that are different from the lore, and we'll cover all those as they come. And I'm excited to be on that journey with you all here over the next several months.
All right, awesome. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Of the rings. And
I want to say thank you very
Jim's
much.
got a sticker.
Thank you, Matt. I really appreciate you being here with us.
Nerd of the Rings, everyone give him a follow.
We're now actually going to get on to the next thing that you were doing yourself. We're going to get into a frame-by-frame, nitpicky little breakdown that's just about to happen right now. Thank you, everybody, for being patient with us as we get up to that point. And excellent to have your generosity and your time. I'm so glad that the other people are sticking with us. You guys are great guests. It's really wonderful to have you. Let's keep it going. There's so much more yet to come. Here we go. Justin is about to join me very soon.
Let's roll the trailer again.
I'm looking at this ship. This ship going through this arch, right there. This is. I'm sorry. Let's roll it. We're going to roll the trailer one more time, but it all starts with, kind of like the Grey Havens. It ends with that ship leaving in the distance. But here it is. This ship arriving now at the very beginning. We're going to watch the trailer one more time.
Haven't you ever wondered what else is out there? There's wonders in this world beyond our wandering. I can feel it.
Wowzer, here we go. Look at this. Okay, so we have here in the opening, and can everybody see this? There's the sun. You see that sun emblem on that arch? Looks very, very, very familiar. Let's go back and take a look at that. Do you see that? Where did we see that? We saw that emblem on a sword on that poster not so long ago. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yes. Do we have our other Zoom guests still with us on audio? Yeah? Can you guys see what we're seeing?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And so, what do you think that means?
Yeah, I'm opening this up wide. Time for everybody to jump in and let me know what they think. This is not Númenorian, is it?
It reminds me of the heraldic emblem of Finwë. So I'm still feeling like we're seeing part of Valinor here, maybe Tyrion. I don't know what anyone else thinks about that, but that's what it's reminding me of.
I thought it was Númenor, and my reasoning is not so much of the foreground symbols, but that background mountain, because that looks like Meneltarma to me. So
Meneltarma, yes.
My hypothesis is that this is Romina, which is one of the coastal cities. Could be another one, but that's the one that kind of clues right on it into the central mountain of Númenor. So that was my hunch.
Do you know what? You might be onto something. You really might be onto something. Perhaps we're not looking at a group of Númenorians that are the king's men. Maybe we're looking at a place where the faithful reside.
Yeah, that's possible.
You know, what I think is probably one of the things that we've learned from trailers is things are not in sequence. So it's, this could be something, we talked about the ship. It could be at any point in time, surrounding Númenor. So that's one thing I keep telling myself, because they're just throwing images at us to tease us, as you can see. And so they aren't necessarily going to be in the same order that they'll appear in the series.
Yeah. I thought Númenor as well. I'm still holding to that, but I'm keeping my mind open as well to Mythland. And Lindon also has mountains in the background. Lindon's going to be a very important place, obviously because of Gilgalad. Depends on what lineage they put Gilgalad to, if that symbol makes sense for him. So now, if he's Fingon's son, it makes sense then. But if he's Orodreth's son, which was retconned later, it doesn't make so much sense then. So we have to take these things into account. But I'm gonna say I'm leaning toward Númenor. But it's,
you know what? I'm going to go with you. I want to lean in with you on that. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're 1,000% right. I've got my copy of the Atlas of Middle-earth. Do you think that this tower, the tower on the far left, to the left of the statue, might be the Tower of Oromet? Is it possible that we're looking at Anduni, and we're just coming into the harbor from the Bay of Anduni?
That's on the west. So
that's on the west. Yes.
on the east.
That's right. Romena's on the far east.
On the west. Yep.
That's right. That's
Romena's
right.
on the far east, on the other side, and then on the further west is Anduin. So exactly what you're saying is right. But it would also change who's there. So if I'm not mistaken, the King's men would be more so west, and then and Romena would be more so the faithful. Or I might have that backwards, but that's what I'm thinking.
You know what? I think you're right on, but I think it's switched because they were looking to the Valar, they were looking to the west, and I think that's why the faithful preferred to reside on the western side of the island.
Yeah, I might have that backwards, but either one is going to depend on which group of people is residing where. So I think it's a good chance that it's it's Númenor.
If this is true, wow, this is the first time we've ever seen Númenor visualized. If that is Meneltarma, wow, this is the first time. This represents the very, very first time, because not even in a flashback did Peter Jackson show us what Númenor looked like back then. So this is groundbreaking in that sense.
And to the faithful location, it all depends on when in the Númenorian history that shot is taking place. Because